All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me just get signed in real quick. So today we are going to be taking a look at the second half of Unit 2, Lesson 7, which is our mini project on CSS. So again, that's the cascading style sheets that we've been working on, where you have the selector, and then you have the property, and then you have the value, and you have the curly brackets. So again, this is a mini project, so it is going to count as a like a quiz grade, a summative grade. So we should have completed bubbles 1 and 2 of lesson 7 yesterday. So today I want to work on bubble 3 and 4. Tomorrow we'll be working on 3, 4, and 5. So part of this, ladies and gentlemen, and give me 1 second, and this is in your Google Classroom right now. This is your what's it called? Your project guide. So it's going to kind of tell you what all needs to be as part of your project. So you are going to design a page to reach your goal. You're going to use a CSS style to use CSS sheet to style your sheet, and you are going to have readable code. So again, define your goal. Like what part, like maybe you are like a super girly girl, so you want to make sure that you're using pinks and purples. Maybe you want it to be more like bold, so you're going to be using different kinds of colors and bold text and things like that. So decide what about your style it is that you want to share with the world, whatever that might happen to be. Again, what are some things that you are going to want to communicate? What content is important? Again, you need to have content to style. So I'm going to be doing a quick little example for you to kind of give you an idea of a few things that you could think about doing. I will add the rubric in a minute. I just had to like touch it up because I accidentally erased half of it, so that's totally my bad. How should your content be styled? You can sketch the page below. What CSS properties are you going to need on your page, etc., and so forth. So this is like a planning guide for what it is that you want to do. Again, I will not be grading your planning guides. That's not the purpose of this class. I don't need to know what you plan on doing. This is more for you. Some people find it very helpful to sort of plan it out ahead of time. If you're more like me, I'm kind of like I sort of have an idea in my head, and then I just sort of like to do it. All right. So this is what is waiting for you on bubble 3, and it's a whole lot of blank. The only thing that you have here is that you already have your style sheet linked to your HTML. So let's say the first thing in my HTML that I want to have is some sort of heading, because all web pages need a title. So I'm going to go ahead and do a heading H1. Oops, I have my cap locks on, my bad. And I always like to immediately do my closing tags, just because I always forget to do my closing tags. So I know there's my H1. And let's say, for example, if I want my personal website to be about my hobbies. Again, you can make your personal website maybe about your the sports that you enjoy. Maybe you're going to do it about the fact that you like certain types of food. Whatever you choose to make it about is what you choose to make it about. My example to you is going to be about hobbies. So I'm going to have hobbies. I have somebody unmuted. Is there a question, or did that unmuting happen by accident? Isaiah, you need to mute, please. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, so now you can see where I have the word hobbies in as my, what's it called? It's in as my title. And then maybe underneath hobbies, I'm going to do a paragraph. And then again, I'm just going to do my opening and closing tags at the same time. And then maybe I'm going to say this web page will discuss my I can't talk and type at the same time. My favorite hobbies. Okay, so I just have a couple of HTML elements here. I have a title, I have a paragraph. Obviously, check your rubric in terms of what all needs to be in here. But again, you know how to do headings, you know how to do lists, you know how to do paragraphs. Those are the things that I'm going to expect to see. But again, I'm just doing a quick example for you guys to have reference to. All right, so I have my heading, I have my paragraph. The next thing you are going to want to do is you are going to want to style it. Now, again, in terms of what all styling elements you're going to need, you will have to check your rubric. But again, there are certain things that we know how to do, like changing the color, doing the alignment, changing the font. So those are three things that I'm going to model for you. So now I want to change the font, the color, and the alignment of my content. In order to do that, I'm going to go over to the style CSS sheet and notice it's blank. I have to create my own rule sets. Now remember, a CSS rule set is always going to begin with a selector. I'm going to start with my H1 selector. So I am saying I want to change the style of everything that is a heading 1. My selector followed by curly brackets. And again, I always like to just put both my curly brackets in because I always forget to close my curly brackets and then my code's messed up. All right, so after I have my selector, in this case is H1, I have my curly brackets, I'm going to include my property. I want to change the color of the word hobby. Okay, so I'm going to go color. And let's say I want this to be red. Ooh, that's a nice red. All right. Colon. What else do I want to change about my heading? Well, maybe I want to change my font size. Oh, I'm sorry, it's text, I think. Why can I never remember this one? Is it font size? There it is. Yep, it is font size. So, font size, I want to make this bigger. Let's maybe go with 50. And remember, for font size, you have to add on the PX because it's talking about the pixels. And then maybe I want to have, maybe I'm going to align it. I'm going to change the font family. I want a different font, and it gives me these choices. And I kind of, let's say I like this fantasy. Oof, that's kind of ugly, but whatever. I'm going to leave it because it's just for example purposes. All right, so I have changed three elements of my H1. I can also change elements for my paragraph. Maybe I want the background of my, what's it called? I want the background of my page to be a different color. So maybe I'm going to say background, body. And then I'm going to change the color. And maybe I want it to be aqua. Background. I'll have to go in and play with that. I want to point something out though, guys. I mean, I'm the teacher here, and I honestly can't even remember half of these codes, which is fine. But that is why you have then like your tips and help and tips questions. So you guys in your things should have like a facts, frequently asked questions. So again, if you need to find, go into your helps and tips. It'll give you helps and tips on your style sheets, your text properties, your formatting, list, heading, anything you need. That is what that's there for. So if I go to that, it's going to give me a lot of this information. That's what it is there for. All right. So, anyways, you now have your what's it called? You have your project guide. I have given you a brief idea about what is expected in the project. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, you have this time to work. If you're still working on old assignments, you also have this time to ask questions. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.